Work takes up most of your time. That's why you should use Stamps.com to save time with your mailing and shipping, and have flexibility to focus on more important things. Stamps.com can handle all your mailing and shipping needs, with rates up to 88% off USPS and UPS. Add flexibility to your day with Stamps.com. Go to Stamps.com/program to sign up for a special offer. No contract, cancel anytime. That's Stamps.com/program.
The Walking Dead, Season 2, Episode 8, Nebraska. The mid-season premiere of The Walking Dead Season 2, Nebraska, picks up in the immediate aftermath of the devastating events at the Greene family farm. This episode shifts the focus to the emotional fallout of Sophia's death, the growing fractures within the group, and the introduction of new threats in the apocalyptic landscape. Plot summary. Dealing with the aftermath. The episode begins in the wake of the barn massacre, where Sophia Pelletier's tragic fate has left the group shattered. Rick Grimes, Andrew Lincoln, is reeling from the decision to kill Sophia, while Carol Peletier, Melissa McBride, isolates herself in grief. The group buries the walkers from the barn, including Sophia, a somber task that underscores their emotional and moral exhaustion. Hershel Greene, Scott Wilson, is deeply affected by the loss of his family members, who he had been keeping in the barn as walkers. His faith and belief in humanity are shaken, and he retreats into himself, questioning whether there is any purpose in continuing to survive. Hershel's disappearance. After the massacre, Hershel retreats to a bar in a nearby town, abandoning the group and the farm. His departure causes concern among the survivors, as the farm represents their only safe haven. Rick and Glenn Rhee, Steve and Yeun, decide to search for him, hoping to bring him back before he does something reckless. Before leaving, Rick tasks Shane Walsh, Jon Bernthal, with keeping the group safe, a decision that further strains their already contentious relationship. Shane's growing hostility. Shane's frustration with Rick's leadership continues to boil over. He argues that Rick's decisions are putting the group at risk, particularly the ongoing search for Sophia, which ended in tragedy. Shane begins to assert himself as a leader, further dividing the group and setting up a power struggle with Rick. Meanwhile, Lori Grimes, Sarah Wayne Callies, becomes increasingly worried about the tension between Rick and Shane, especially given Shane's volatile behavior. Her fears grow as Shane openly challenges Rick's authority in front of the group. Rick and Glenn find Hershel. Rick and Glenn locate Hershel at a bar, where he is drowning his sorrows in alcohol. Hershel expresses despair over the loss of his family and the collapse of his moral worldview. Rick tries to convince him to return to the farm, reminding him that his medical skills and leadership are crucial to the group's survival. As they talk, two strangers, Dave, Michael Raymond-James, and Tony, Aaron Munoz, enter the bar. The men claim to be from Philadelphia and ask to join the group at the farm. Their demeanor quickly turns menacing as they probe for information about the farm's location and resources. Rick becomes suspicious of their intentions and remains guarded. The confrontation in the bar. Tensions escalate as Dave and Tony become increasingly aggressive, revealing their true motives to take advantage of the farm. When Dave reaches for his gun, Rick acts quickly, shooting both men in a tense and violent confrontation. The scene underscores Rick's growing pragmatism and his willingness to make hard decisions to protect the group. The gunfire attracts attention, leaving Rick, Glenn, and Hershel uncertain about what other threats might be nearby. Lori's accident. Back at the farm, Lori becomes concerned about Rick's safety and decides to head into town to find him. While driving, she is distracted by a walker and crashes her car, leaving her injured and stranded. This moment adds a new layer of tension, as Lori's fate remains uncertain. Key themes and elements. Grief and despair. The episode explores the emotional toll of Sophia's death in the barn massacre on the survivors. Hershel's loss of faith and Carol's grief highlight the fragility of hope in the apocalypse. Moral complexity. Rick's decision to kill Dave and Tony illustrates the moral dilemmas of survival. His actions, while necessary, mark a shift toward a more ruthless and pragmatic leadership style. Leadership and division. The power struggle between Rick and Shane intensifies, reflecting the growing divide within the group. Their conflicting philosophies about survival and morality set the stage for future conflict. New threats. The encounter with Dave and Tony introduces the concept that other survivors, not just walkers, can pose significant dangers. This foreshadows the increasing presence of human antagonists in the series. Character development. Rick Grimes. Rick's confrontation with Dave and Tony demonstrates his evolution into a leader willing to take decisive, violent action to protect the group. Hershel Greene. Hershel's despair and withdrawal highlight the emotional toll of the apocalypse, but his eventual return to the farm shows his resilience. Shane Walsh. Shane's growing hostility and defiance of Rick's leadership hint at his descent into instability and the widening rift between them. Glenn Rhee. Glenn's loyalty and bravery are evident as he accompanies Rick on the dangerous mission, but his fear and inexperience are also highlighted. Lori Grimes. Lori's determination to find Rick, despite the risks, underscores her role as a protective and devoted wife and mother. Memorable moments. The intense confrontation in the bar, where Rick quickly and decisively kills Dave and Tony, setting a new tone for his character. Hershel's emotional breakdown at the bar, a poignant moment that highlights the weight of his losses. Shane's growing defiance, which adds tension and foreshadows future conflict within the group. Lori's car accident, a suspenseful moment that leaves her fate uncertain. Glenn's nervous yet brave actions during the mission, showcasing his growing importance to the group. Conclusion. Nebraska is a tense and emotionally charged episode that marks a turning point for The Walking Dead. With its focus on grief, leadership, and the introduction of human threats, the episode deepens the stakes and sets the stage for escalating conflict within the group and with outsiders. Rick's decisive actions and the growing divide between him and Shane signal that the apocalypse is not just a fight against walkers, but also a battle for survival against the living.